Hey guys, Lord Sora here. As the season 4 is approaching, I want to provide you guys an updated PvP tier list for season 4, as you might be deciding what class to play. Maybe you want to check out PvP and you want to keep PvP in mind even though you maybe play mainly PvE. Maybe this will help you out. This will be my educated guess, sort of an anticipation based on some of the numbers that I have run, some gameplay examples I have done during the PTR. A lot of it might still can change. We still don't know the obviously tempering changes and how those manuals are going to be adjusted. But based on what I have seen from the PTR, I'm going to do my best to estimate what's coming as which class will be the strongest. Starting with Barbarian here. Barbarian I don't think will be as strong as what we have seen. They had few build options in the past seasons. Bleed, Thorns, Charge, Double Swing. They relied on some pet damage a lot. And then one thing that we know the Barb has is the insane amount of tankiness. So they're gonna lose some of that tankiness. They lose some class integrated damage DR, that 10% damage DR. They're not gonna have that anymore. They are losing so much DR from their gear. However, Barb is still gonna be the tankiest class out of all. So it's really hard to put Barb below A tier in my opinion, because they will be able to still stack so much HP, and the Thorns Barb build still will be really strong. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of Thorns here, but outside of Thorns, also the Bleed is still going to be very decent. There's a tempering option that you can increase the size of the rend, where you can actually dot enemies a lot quicker. Obviously, there will be a lot of dot chance against that, so you'll be able to dodge some of those attacks from the rend. However, with the size being increased, players being faster, they can put more dots on you. So then the dots will be ticking a lot harder, because the classes will not have as many DR on their gear. Actually, they will have mostly none. The Bleed will be ticking really hard. We will no longer be able to have damage reduction against damage over time abilities as well. So considering all those things, if we are actually thinking about just Thorns, I think I would put the Barb in S tier, but I want to keep S tier for one specific class only. I think that's going to be the big outlier. So my guess for Barb is they're going to be A tier in season 4. Again, with that said, I think one of the really fun builds for Barbarian will be the Rend Bleed Barb build. Not a big fan of Thorns, like I said. Thorns will be really strong still. You're going to be able to stack so much HP, maybe 300k HP we're talking about with Thorns, and they have an interaction. The more HP you stack, the more Thorns you get. So it's going to be really strong in terms of Thorns Barb. However, if you're participating in the competitive scene, you will probably see that the Thorns are kind of like looked down upon, and it is actually currently banned. All, not just for Barbs, even for example Mini Necro for Thorns. All Thorn builds are banned from competitive dueling scene. So pick your poison there. If I were to play Barb, I will try to play a Bleed Barb, because I think it's such a cooler, more mechanical build to play in PvP. Next on the line is Druid. I really don't know where to place Druid. I feel like there are a lot of hidden mechanics. Like, I have seen some Druids examples in season 3, and they had some crazy damage. They had this poison one shot. They would put poison on you, and they had that one aspect. They would retrieve all the poison. It will do a significant amount of multiplier damage on you, and it was sort of a one shot. The one thing that Druids get countered a lot was the bushwhack meta with the pet and break-in support. Druids are relying on barrier a lot, and pet having a stone that would remove the barrier really counter the Druid meta. So I feel like there will be some Druids out there that's gonna make Druid more viable this season. It is still gonna be difficult in my opinion. I think Druids will still be difficult to play, harder to make it work. However, I think there's a lot more hope for Druid than compared to all the other seasons in the past. Just because they will have so much damage, and they can be actually one of the tankier classes with the barrier. So while Necros or even Rogues will struggle to survive compared to past seasons, Druid might be able to still survive better. Granted, their combo will be very predicted, that poison one shot will be quite avoidable. However, maybe in the good hands of really good players, the Druid might shine. So I'm going to actually give Druid the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to put them in a B tier. I think there's some undiscovered potential with the Druid in PvP. And I think we're going to see some really good Druid gameplays in the coming season. Alrighty, let's talk about the Necromancer, my love, my favorite, my main class, all-time favorite class ever. This season is gonna be great. I think I'm not gonna say great in terms of power, but I think this season is gonna be very, very fun to play for Necromancer. We are gonna be very strong. Well, I think we are going into our strongest season because, like I said, lack of DR will actually help us because we have an immunity. And the way I always have played is I went out always on damage. My idea has always been kill them before they can kill me. So the way this season is designed, there's going to be a lot of big damage going around. So, and I think Necro is going to have some good options going into Season 4. Is going to be able to, I think, compete a lot better compared to other seasons. Which build I'm talking about mainly, I think the Shadow Wave build is coming back. I think it's going to be the best Necromancer build just because how the meta is going to shape. I have recently put out a Minions build guide, my idea how I'm going to play it in Season 4 for PvP. I also released a build guide for Shadow Wave as well, so please check those out. I think there's some good information there. Shadow Wave build guide is fully out. I listed as much as possible. I will keep updating it. Minion guide, I'm going to be working and releasing the full guide as soon as possible as well when the season goes live. There are a few things I actually want to test, get some more gameplay examples. But so where does the Minion Necromancer is going to land? I'm going to say A tier. It is really hard to put Necromancer above Barbs. I think the Barbs have a lot more in their toolkit to make things workable. But Shadow Wave build is going to be very, very strong. I mean, it's not really a good measure because a lot of us were min-maxed in PTR. But with Shadow Wave build, I think I won 95% of my duels in a PTR. Against all PvPers, by the way, not just random pogs or anything. We gathered, all of us, all PvPers gathered and then tested a bunch of stuff in PTR. And I was able to win almost 95% of my duels with Shadow Wave. Mainly because dots, damage over time, is going to be more meta than ever. Like we mentioned, there's no more DR on gear. Well, at least not as many DRs as you used to. And dot chance is going to be a lot more popular way to mitigate damage coming up in Season 4. But guess what you can't dodge? The damage over time. So Shadow Wave and Firewall, the builds that rely on dodge, especially dodge from the area effects, are not dodgeable. So it's gonna be really strong in terms of that to put the pressure or land the combos, while other classes might be struggling to put the damage on you because of the high dodge chance. With that being said, that's where minions get a little bit countered because you have a lot of damage instances going on, and there's this new aspect called Crowded Sage. The more enemy dodges, the more healing over time they're gonna get. So if your minion is constantly attacking, a bunch of direct damage, and you're pretty much healing the opponent at the same time, so it might be really big counter to minions. But with minions, I think there's room for minions PvP build as well. I think it's gonna be very strong. It's gonna be very fun. But I just don't think it's gonna be as good as Shadow Wave. Alright, moving on to rogues. This is a tough one. because I have won most of my duels versus rogues, but none of the rogues that I fought had Shaco or Doombringer, which I think they highly benefit from. And one thing they were doing, they were relying on the elemental surge, the tempering option that you put on a weapon where you proc by lucky hits. They were relying on that damage a lot. However, that is significantly nerfed, so that's going to impact their ability to put more pressure. However, they're also going to have a really high poison damage, and actually range rogue, rapid fire rogue might be a really good option in this meta where you're playing around more like one shots, not getting hit. So I think there's a room for rogues to still be very strong, which I know a lot of people probably gonna put rogue BT here, but I put druid here, and I really don't think rogue is gonna be as bad as druids. And I think that rogues will find a way to be still A tier in the coming season. It's not gonna be as easy. The number of players that plays rogue each season is going down, but honestly, let me be honest, rogues had it easy in season 0 and season 1. They were really strong, and once they got nerfed, they just felt that power reduction significantly, that they are kind of, I think, overestimating how weak they are, so how powerful they are. So they're actually more powerful than I think most rogues think. So I think there will be a way for rogues to be still viable. So I hope there are more rogues out there. It's a really fun fight. It's a really fun class to play against as well. So I really want to see more rogues out there. So I think there's a way for rogue to still be viable. With that being said, they're going to be really tanky still. They have the momentum stacks. They can still get a lot more DR than other classes. They can stack more HP than other classes. They're going to have more dodge chance than other classes. I think they will have a room to be, they will have enough tools to make it work. So they're just not going to be as easy, as broken as it used to be in season 0 or season 1. But I'm putting rogue in a tier A. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I'm really wrong, and I will see. But really hoping to see more rogue gameplay out there this season. And the final class here is Sorcerer. It's definitely gonna be an S tier class. I just don't know how are we gonna tank Firewall with no DR. You know, it was pretty well known, if you want to fight a Firewall, you would have a specific gear for Firewall. You will have a bunch of DR. You will stack as much as HP, sometimes healing received, this and that, to be able to counter Firewalls. But that is not possible anymore because we don't have DR. We can have a lot more HP, so maybe there's that, and we can have a lot more cooldown reduction, so maybe there's that to counter them. But to put things into perspective, my Shadow Wave, that does quite a bit damage in PvP. You know, I have thicked on players for like 80k, which is a crazy amount of number, right? When I compare my damage from PvE, like a test dummy, I take about, on average, like let's say 8 million on an elite dummy, and that translates to PvP as like 20 to 30k damage ticks from my damage over time. I know Firewalls that take 100 million on elite dummy. So to put things into perspective there, they're just gonna have so much damage. I just don't know how we're gonna be able to handle that. But I guess we will see. Not only Firewall, they have a teleport, they have immunity where the defense is very low. They are gonna have really high immunity. Hopefully the perma flame shield build is gone after the recent changes, but it's banned in the tournament scene anyways, it's banned in the dueling scene anyways, so there's that. But hopefully we'll be able to find a way to counter Firewall Sorks, or even there are multiple options of other Sorks actually. I don't know if Frozen Orb is gonna be viable. I know the new the one you shoot out fires, I can't remember the name right now, with the new unique is gonna be really strong. There's gonna be Conjuration So Sork is gonna be really fun class to play. It's gonna be very, very dominant. I think it's gonna be the best ever it has been, and we'll see. We'll see the mechanics, but for now, the way it looks, Sork is gonna be on top of the food chain. With that being said, overall, this is the tier list that I am anticipating going into Season 4. I am really excited for Season 4. Last season was kind of slow, was really kind of a bad seasonal mechanic with Pet. The PvP wasn't really as fun. We tried our best. I think we put the Necro or other classes in a good place, and it was fun when it was fun, I guess. But I'm really looking forward to Season 4, and I feel like for the first time ever, we have a situation where Druid, Necro, Rogue, and Barb can sort of have an equal footing, that they will have more chance to fight against each other. I think even in the more casual player's hand, the people will enjoy playing some of the off-meta classes more, because even when we look in the history in the past, Season 0 we had a really dominant Horde Barbs and Rogues. Season 1 we had 70% of the tournaments by just Rogue players. We barely saw any Druid. I don't think we have seen any. We have seen a few Necros here and there, including me. And then in the Season 2 we had a really strong Ball of Lightning Sork meta, and I think Necro was really good there. I personally was able to get to the finals, ended up losing to same Ball of Lightning Sork every final that I went to, but it was sort of fun. Last season we had a really dominant season from Barbs. It was really difficult to find a way, and then the fights were like dragging. It was getting really long, and it wasn't as fun of a season as last season. However, for the first time, this coming up in the Season 4, we're gonna have Druid, Rogue, Necro, and Barb sort of on an equal footing. They will have able to have good matchups against each other, I believe. Even the more casual players, I think, will enjoy these duels and rock, paper, scissors type of fights even more compared to past seasons. So I think Season 4 is going to be a lot better than last season. The game in general is going to be a lot better than previous season. So I'm really looking forward to it. I hope this video was somewhat helpful. I will keep coming back to this post, maybe add a few comments here. Maybe I realize Druids are not really good at all. Or maybe turns out Druid is an S tier class. Or maybe Sorks, we found a way to counter them. And I will keep you guys posted. I'll come back here, release a new guide or something, or come back to this post and update you guys in the comment section. I have a Discord server. I always chat with people over there in my Discord server, share what I know, what I find. The season is coming out. We're going to be able to trade a lot of things, so join up my Discord server. I'm trying to make a really good community PvP environment there that are more willing to share knowledge with each other. So that has been my main goal. I'm really looking forward to Season 4. Hope we can play together. Hopefully PvP is a lot more popular, because the game is going to be a lot more popular in general. And hopefully the PvP experience is going to be a lot better in Season 4 compared to the past season with the pet mechanic. With that being said, Lord Sora here. Thank you for checking this video out. I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.